Golden Bachelor. When The Golden Bachelor first introduced the world to Gerry Turner, viewers saw a charming widower searching for love in his golden years. What they didn't know was that his journey would become one of the most talked-about stories in Bachelor Nation history, filled with romance, heartbreak, resilience, and now a stunning new beginning worth nearly $1 million. Yes, you heard that right. After a whirlwind engagement and televised wedding to Teresa Nist, followed by a very public split, Gerry Turner has officially stepped into a brand new chapter of life. And this chapter? It comes with a 5-bedroom dream home, a glowing fiancé, and a renewed outlook on love. But let's rewind for a moment. Gerry made history as the very first Golden Bachelor. Week after week, millions watched him hand out roses, share emotional conversations, and open his heart again after loss. In the end, he chose Teresa over Leslie Fema, and their love story seemed straight out of a fairy tale, a proposal, a televised wedding special, tears, smiles, dancing, champagne. It felt magical. But as fans now know, fairy tales sometimes take unexpected turns. Just months after the wedding special aired, Gerry and Teresa decided to part ways. At first, the split appeared respectful and calm, two adults choosing different paths. But as time passed, emotions surfaced publicly, especially after Gerry released his memoir, Golden Years: What I've Learned from Love, Loss, and Reality TV. In the book, he reflected deeply on love, lessons, and difficult moments, including how his health diagnosis changed everything. Shortly after his marriage, Gerry was diagnosed with Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia, a rare and incurable blood cancer. It was life-altering news, the kind of news that makes you pause, reflect, reevaluate everything. And instead of shrinking back from the spotlight, Gerry chose transparency. He shared his diagnosis publicly. He spoke about gratitude. He focused on what truly matters: love, family, laughter. And then something beautiful happened. In 2025, Gerry met Lana Sutton. Their connection didn't come with dramatic rose ceremonies or televised eliminations. It came quietly, naturally, organically. And sometimes that's exactly how the strongest love stories begin. After just a few months of dating, Gerry proposed to Lana in October 2025. No elaborate TV production, just a man, a ring, and a promise. And now, they've taken an even bigger step together. Gerry recently revealed that he and Lana closed on a breathtaking 2-story home, a 4,455-square-foot property with 5 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, a fireplace, a massive game room, and a luxurious primary suite that feels more like a spa retreat than a bedroom. Nearly $1 million. And yes, it's a 50-50 investment. Equal partners, equal commitment. For Gerry, this house represents more than square footage and real estate headlines. It represents stability after chaos, warmth after uncertainty, hope after heartbreak. He described the journey to finding their perfect home as arduous. Imagine house tours, paperwork, inspections, negotiations, and probably a few playful disagreements about paint colors or kitchen islands. Can't you just picture it? Gerry standing in the living room saying, "This fireplace is perfect for cozy winter nights." Lana smiling and replying, "Only if you promise to make the hot chocolate." There's something undeniably romantic about building a home together, especially after everything Gerry has been through. Over the past year, he's traveled, blended families, strengthened relationships, and embraced life with a renewed gratitude. Selling his beloved lake house wasn't easy. That home carried memories, history, emotion. But sometimes letting go creates space for something even better. And for Gerry, that something better looks like fresh paint, open spaces, and a future with Lana. Of course, not everyone is cheering. While many fans flooded social media with congratulations, others voiced skepticism.
Some questioned buying a house before marriage. Others defended Teresa. A few critics even suggested history might repeat itself. But here's the thing about public figures. Every choice becomes a debate. Yet through it all, Gerry appears calm, grounded, focused on joy. He has spoken about marrying Lana soon, though he's keeping the details private. And honestly, after living so much of his love life on television, maybe a little privacy is exactly what he deserves. There's something poetic about his journey. A man in his 70s goes on national television to find love. He experiences a fast-moving romance, a highly publicized wedding, and a painful breakup. He faces a serious health diagnosis. He writes a memoir reflecting on love and loss. And then, instead of giving up, he falls in love again. If that's not resilience, what is? And let's talk about that house one more time. 5 bedrooms means room for family visits, holidays, grandchildren running down hallways. 5 bathrooms means no fighting over sink space, which, let's be honest, might be the true secret to relationship harmony. A massive game room? That sounds like future family tournaments, laughter echoing through the walls, maybe even a friendly competition between Gerry and Lana. And that luxurious main bedroom suite? A quiet retreat, a reminder that comfort matters, peace matters. After battling health challenges, navigating public scrutiny, and redefining love later in life, Gerry seems to be choosing comfort, stability, and partnership. It's easy to focus on headlines, the price tag, the breakup, the criticism, but underneath it all is a simple truth. He chose to keep living boldly. He chose to love again. He chose to build again. And whether you're Team Teresa, Team Lana, or simply Team Let People Be Happy, you can't deny that this story is compelling. Because it reminds us that life doesn't end after heartbreak. It doesn't stop after diagnosis. It doesn't freeze after public opinion shifts. It keeps moving. And sometimes it leads you to a front door you never expected, with keys in hand and someone you love standing beside you. Maybe this new house will host quiet mornings with coffee by the fireplace. Maybe it will witness wedding planning laughter. Maybe it will hold tough conversations and beautiful reconciliations, just like any real home does.
Because at the end of the day, a house isn't about its price. It's about who you share it with. Gerry Turner's story is still unfolding. His health journey continues. His engagement is moving toward marriage, and now his dream home stands as a symbol of starting fresh. Love in your golden years isn't smaller. It isn't less exciting. If anything, it's deeper, more intentional, more grateful. And maybe that's the real takeaway. No matter your age, no matter your past, no matter the public opinion, you can still fall in love. You can still buy the dream house. You can still laugh, flirt, and plan a future. As this next chapter unfolds, fans will be watching, some cheering, some critiquing, all curious. What do you think about Gerry's new million-dollar move? Is this a fairy tale comeback or another twist in a very public love story? Share your thoughts, join the conversation, and stay tuned. Because if there's one thing we've learned from the Golden Bachelor, it's that love stories don't come with expiration dates. And sometimes, the best chapters are still ahead. And as this new chapter unfolds, there's a deeper layer to the story that many people are beginning to notice. For Gerry Turner, this isn't just about moving into a luxury property. It's about redefining what happiness looks like after life throws you unexpected plot twists. When he first appeared on The Golden Bachelor, he represented second chances. Now he represents something even bigger, resilience with a sense of humor. Because, let's be honest, buying a nearly $1 million home after everything he's been through, that's not just bold, that's main character energy. Picture this. The moving trucks pulling into the driveway, boxes stacked high, Lana directing furniture placement, while Gerry insists the couch should face the fireplace for optimal cozy vibes. You just know there were playful debates about where the framed photos go. Living room, hallway, game room. And speaking of that game room, imagine the possibilities. Friendly pool matches, card nights, maybe even a few light-hearted arguments about who's the better player. Relationships aren't built on only romance, they're built on shared laughter. And this house feels like it was chosen with joy in mind. But underneath the excitement is something more meaningful. Gerry's health journey hasn't disappeared. Being diagnosed with Waldenstrom's macroglobulinemia is not a small detail in someone's life story. It changes your priorities. It sharpens your focus. It makes every sunrise feel a little more intentional. That's part of what makes this move so powerful. Instead of shrinking his world, he expanded it. Instead of retreating, he reinvested in life. And maybe that's why this home means so much. It's not about proving critics wrong. It's about proving to himself that life is still worth planning for, worth decorating for, worth dreaming about. Lana, by his side, seems to represent calm after the storm. Their relationship hasn't been wrapped in television drama. It hasn't been edited into cliffhangers. It feels quieter, more grounded. And sometimes that kind of love is the strongest kind. Friends from Bachelor Nation, including familiar faces like Joan Vassos and Susan Knowles, offered public congratulations. That says something. It shows that despite criticism from some corners of social media, there are people who genuinely want to see him happy. Of course, the internet always has opinions. Some people question the speed of the engagement, others question buying property before marriage. A few still passionately defend Teresa Nist. And that's the reality of living a public life. Every milestone becomes a headline. Every decision becomes a debate. But here's something interesting. Through it all, Gerry hasn't responded with bitterness. He hasn't launched into online battles. Instead, he shares photos, smiles, updates about closing papers and new beginnings. There's something almost romantic about that kind of quiet confidence. It's the kind that says, I know what I'm building. And let's talk about building for a second. A 5-bedroom house isn't just for 2 people. It's for visiting children, grandkids, holiday dinners that stretch late into the night, Thanksgiving mornings with too many pies, Christmas trees that barely fit in the corner, birthday candles glowing against freshly painted walls. This house isn't just a purchase, it's a backdrop for memories that haven't happened yet. And for someone who has already experienced profound love and loss in his lifetime, that matters. There's also a subtle humor in this entire journey. Remember when Gerry was handing out roses on national television, nervously deciding who would meet his family? Fast forward to now. He's choosing backsplash tiles and debating mortgage paperwork. That's character development. From rose ceremonies to real estate ceremonies, from fantasy suites to financing approvals. It's almost poetic. And perhaps that's what keeps audiences invested. Not perfection, not flawless fairy tales, but growth, evolution, the willingness to keep trying. Because here's the truth. Love in your 70s doesn't look like love in your 20s. It's less about fireworks and more about foundation, less about grand gestures and more about partnership. Splitting a home 50-50 sends a message. It says equality. It says shared responsibility. It says, we're in this together. That's not just romantic, that's mature romance. As wedding plans quietly move forward, fans are left wondering what the ceremony will look like. Intimate, lavish, beachside, backyard? After one very public televised wedding, maybe this next one will feel softer, more personal, more sacred. And maybe that's the lesson Gerry's journey keeps teaching. You don't stop believing in love just because one chapter closes. You revise, you reflect, you rebuild. There's something inspiring about watching someone choose optimism when cynicism would be easier. Yes, he's faced backlash. Yes, his memoir stirred conversation. Yes, his split became headline material. But he didn't freeze in that moment. He moved forward, into a new relationship, into a new home, into a new season of life. And whether you're watching as a supporter or skeptic, you can't deny this. It takes courage to fall in love again when the world is watching. It takes confidence to sign closing papers on $1 million home when critics are typing comments. It takes hope to plan a wedding after a very public breakup. Hope is the real headline here. So what comes next? Will this house become the setting of a peaceful, lasting marriage? Will it host anniversary dinners years from now? Will it become the symbol of a love that outlasted doubt? Only time will tell. But for now, the image is clear. A front door opening, sunlight pouring through wide windows, and two people choosing to build something together. And in a world that often focuses on scandal more than sincerity, maybe that's the most refreshing part of this story. Love doesn't retire, dreams don't expire, and sometimes the boldest move you can make is simply saying yes to a person, to a future, to a brand new set of house keys. What do you think this next chapter will look like for Gerry and Lana? Is this the peaceful forever he's been searching for, or just another unexpected twist in a very public love story? One thing's certain, the journey isn't over, and the doors to this new home have only just opened.